Jeez. Okay. Well, now we're going to go to the normal business meeting, which doesn't take usually more than 2 or 3 minutes. And first up is a treasurer's report with Walt Seeley. So I'm going to walk around and hand Walt the microphone.
Okay. Our balance today is $2,327.91. However, HDC has not processed a check I sent them for $750 for the spring fling and $25 for dues. So after those checks clear, will be $1,552.91. I think the message is out that we need dues money and any other money, if we got any donors out there.
And when it comes to our picnic, this coming, I can't remember, it's April, May 5th, May 4th. Yeah, we'll have some permitted fundraising activities through silent auctions and the like. Okay, now we're on to the secretary's report with Janet Mullen. I'm going to give her the microphone. Whoop, there she is.
Oh, okay. Hi. Usually I just say that I've been approved by at the board meeting, but I have something else to do. If someone will give me a number between 1 and 15. 7. Okay. I've been giving everybody a number. And Reed, you are the winner of the door prize.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't have any tickets, or I would have given you tickets. Sorry, we can't do it for everybody on Zoom, but
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Vicky, I forgot that Vicky wasn't gonna be here tonight, but she was going to give us the update on our current paid membership level. What I remember as of the board meeting, which is a week ago yesterday, we are at 35 or 36. Okay, and is that including what's happened in the last week? Now we're up to 37, or we were 37 last Monday? So we're up to 39 as of then. Just okay. So we think up to our paid membership level of 39, and obviously would like to get that up. Both existing members who have not yet paid for the cycle and also get a total membership up. And later on, we'll be handing the microphone both to Rudina Richter and Russ Miller, who have activities going on in which we help them, and they can also help us in terms of signing up new members. We'll get to that in due course, not very far along from now, a couple minutes. Okay. Spring Fling, as our treasurer mentioned, we agreed at the board meeting last week that we are sponsoring a half table at the Siegel Garnet level, which is 5 seats at a 10-seat table for $750. This is what we did last year. We're doing this again this year. Of the 5 seats, anybody that's a membership in the club can ask for one. And it's half price, so they're $150 each, so it's $75 for 5 members. As your president, I've put my hand up. I need to be there, and I will be paying $75 for one of the seats. So there are 4 left. For members, it costs you $75, and obviously it's first come, first serve. Okay. Okay, next, I don't know, I've only got one physical copy here, but Chris attended the all-day meeting a week ago Saturday on voter registration, and I attended the all-day meeting on Sunday, which was leadership of clubs and caucuses vis-a-vis what we're going to be doing this year in 2024. And I'll just hand this to Chris, see if he wants to mention anything about it and how that impacts what we'll be doing here at this club later this year.
It was held in the parking lot of the office that we have on 56th Street in Tampa. It was a good event. They had a couple of speakers, and then we broke off and we went into different the applications like Reach and Vote Builder and Maps. And I think can't remember if there was another one, but the canvassing. And after that was over, those who wanted to went out canvassing to practice what they were taught. I understand it I didn't do that. So but I'd say about 20 people stayed behind to do that. So we need to get out and talk to people. I'm more of a phone and a texting guy than going out and door to door. But we all need to get out and do something, whatever you're comfortable with.
And Chris raises an important point. It's all of us contribute in the manner to which we can, and that's either financially or in terms of our personal time. You can do it online, and Chris does one heck of a job as a vice president in having communications promptly go out to our club membership, and he's getting things to himself directly. And from me in my role, I'm forwarding to him. And he is doing an excellent job in getting this out to our membership and communicating within our club. So thank you, Chris. Okay. I tend to be more, in person oriented, and I've worked very much with Russ and with Rudina and with CL and with Lauren, his successor. And just so you know, this is the next point. Lauren Wick has been asking for our help, and I discussed with her how our relationship works here with Rudina Richter, who is one half of Region 5, and Lauren Wyke is the other half, representing Plant City. And Lauren will be working with us to get us to help assist her in some canvassing in Plant City. She said there's an untapped area of Plant City that's loaded with Democrats that have not been canvassed in the last cycle. And clearly we need to canvass them in this cycle. And if she has not already discussed this with Russ Miller, he's hearing it from me. And obviously I and Russ and Lauren will discuss it together and make sure that we get her needs met in terms of getting these uncanvassed Dems in Plant City covered. I think she said it's a new area. It's a new housing development that's loaded with 500 to 1,000 Democrats. Did I remember correctly?
It's amazing how fast housing is growing up in Plant City.
Okay, so yes, my memory is accurate, and I'm getting a nod of confirmation from Russ. So between this club and Russ and his resources, we're going to work with Lauren the way we work with Rudina. And Rudina is actually here, and I'm now going to hand the phone to her because she's been talking to us about her event coming up on March the 2nd. And we'll be part of that with one table, but now this is over to Rudina to discuss her event.
Thank you very much. I know that I keep showing up with these clipboards to sign up. That's how we joint venture with one club and another club. We are going to do something similar to what was talked about from a couple weeks ago, where there was just a big opportunity for people to come and see what the Hillsborough County Dems have. We're going to do it by region, though. And the hope is that we'll be bringing in some potential new volunteers. We need to build our volunteer army for this election cycle, always looking to build new volunteers. So we're going to have an event in a park on Sadie Street. It'll be on March 2nd from 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. All these different groups and clubs are going to have tents, including the East Hillsborough Club, whatever literature they want, however they want to interact with the attendees at the event to promote what is done, how they serve the community, how they interact with the voters. And it should be a lot of fun. There'll be food. There'll be, it'll be a fun event. So I'm looking for people who will hopefully help set up, maintain the tent, do whatever needs to be done in order to make this thing successful. I'll send this around and I'll give you more of the particulars as we get closer to the time. Suggestions are welcome. I've never done one of these before. So if any of you have anything to offer by the way of suggestions, please let me know. Thank you. Yes. It's Saturday, March 2nd, which is the first Saturday in March. and it'll be at Brandon Park on Sadie Street. Zoom users, do you have any questions? I see no hands up. Okay. Thank you.
Obviously, I will be there to assist Regina because I've assist her all the time anyhow, but I will also have my hat on as the president of the EHDC and will be help setting up and staffing the tent and the table. If we get one or two other members of the club to help me represent the club there at that event, that would be great. Hint, hint. But I will be there for sure, God willing, and all that good stuff. Okay. So thank you very much. Now, lastly, I want to give a tip of the hat to Janet Mullen here, who has stuck her hand up for the process that's been outlined today by Vanessa Lester for our new system, which is starting now and will go into effect on December the 1st of this year. Okay, my meeting the day after Chris's on Saturday was for the club and caucus leadership of the county to clue us in on what's going on and where we as leadership of clubs and caucuses can assist the process. And that's part of what I was doing tonight. That's what my marching orders were. That's why Vanessa was our speaker. That worked out serendipitously through Susan, but I knew exactly what I was asking Vanessa to talk about since she told me this is what you got to do. And it worked out well. And Janet, when I explained the process to our board last week, said I would like to put my hand up and become part of that process. So that is now on the record here, the agenda, and Russ has heard it and Regina's heard it, and Janet will be hearing, and I've mentioned it as well to Ione. So I'm not clear exactly how this goes day by day, but very soon Janet will be personally involved in the process and she can report back to us on the process as a participant thereof. Okay. So, and we appreciate Janet doing this because we have to do this, and it would be nice to have one of our club members as running either as one of the two representatives for Region 5 or as one of the at-large candidates. So Janet has two different possible ways of achieving her goal. One is as a representative Region 5, the other is at large, and that will work out. And I'm out of it, and that's up to Janet in the process. I'm going to give the microphone to Janet. It looks like she wants to say something.
Do you have to be a precinct captain for both? Okay, so I'm going to have to get with Liz, who is in our precinct team.
As the former runner of the ERF program, we have lots of PC slots. So unless I'm told.
So that you don't have to compete with the precinct captain. That's what I just did. I go to the booths.
Okay, okay. No. Are you a precinct captain now? We have lots of empty ones. You don't have to run against anybody. No. The precinct captains, you ask for it, you will get one. It will descend upon you like manna from heaven. Am I incorrect, Regina? Am I incorrect, Russ?
But it does have to be the precinct that you live in.
Okay.
Well,
Well, that's not quite true. I am an exception. Let me explain. I am the precinct captain for 703. I live on the border between 6 and 5, so I'm nominally 6. But do you see me doing much other than my purely precinct level duties for 703 during election season? No, I live, breathe, participate in Region 5. So I finally asked as a favor from CL, you've got all these empty precincts. How about the one just north of me contiguously? Do you have a precinct captain just north of my 703 and 707? He says, no. God bless you. You are 707, Reed Morgan, in Region 5. And we need PC. So I hear you, but there are times okay. I've adopted a precinct. If she needs to adopt one, if there's already one in her precinct, I am positive I will stick my neck out, as you know I will do often, and say, I do not worry that she will not be able to get a precinct. She will get a precinct. not later, not for what we're discussing now. As a prerequisite for her to run in this process, she has to become a precinct captain. That's what we're discussing now. Nobody has to vote on that. Later in the process, yes, there are elections. I don't know if they're this June and this December, but clearly for people to take their office in December, no later than the December election, there will be an election unless everybody's appointed for this first cycle. That's a very good question. So I'm asking you two, do you know how that works? Do these people have to be elected to take office in December 1st, or is that next year? And right now they're interim appointments, because that slide made it sound like they're appointed and then they get elected in the normal course of affairs. No, state. No, April's something different. There's a lot of things going on. That's why this is confusing. Go ahead. Here, would you pass this down, Radina?
I thought we learned at the one meeting at the office that you asked for what's the requirement. There's a requirement in June that you have to be the precinct captain in order to be voted in December. Remember?
It's the inheritance, right? This is, the leadership will turn over in December. That's when we have our normal elections for chairperson, for example, vice chair, et cetera. And this will be part of that process.
So there'll be no election this June. We're only talking about the one in December.
Right.
Let's say she's vetted, she runs. When will she know that she can take one of those seats on December 1st? That's my question.
We were told that date, but I don't remember it. At the office, we were told, you asked those questions. No, I heard that you had to be required. You asked, what is the backdating? They said they would get us, but it was sometime in June at noon that you had to be the official date. And then the election wasn't going to be until December. And they were supposed to get back to us that number.
Then I assume it means to run, and these are elections.
Yes.
Start working this out as we go along here, right? Yeah. Yeah. Once again, they're working out the details, and my being a professional pain in the rear, I keep asking, okay, how, when, where, go backwards. How can I explain and get people to participate if we, the people who are asking, don't know the details? So it's a work in progress. Yeah, it's a work in progress. We'll keep you informed as we work out all the details, but the process is underway and we are doing our part. Thanks to Janet Mullen. Yay, Janet, give her a hand, everybody. All right. Okay. Okay, because pieces move around, we had speakers lined up and things happen. So right now we don't have anybody for March. Chris has an idea. CL gave us an idea. It might be one and the same. I think you talked about it. It's about the student debt. Was that it? Yeah, it's the program that was just given at the Plant City Club this last month. We might be having that speaker here to give the presentation on the student debt crisis and the program that is being pursued to address that on a more holistic basis. Not that Biden's not done badly. He's done quite well, notwithstanding he's had his one arm tied behind his back by our ever blessed Supreme Court. Okay. April, we do have Rocky Brancato, who's one of the two candidates for the Democratic nomination for public defender in November. And Rocky is also a member of this club, and he speaks at our events. He probably will be invited, and he will be invited because I will do it, to speak for our picnic in early May. And then we got to get busy and get May and June speakers lined up. All right. Now, does anybody, that's it for the official agenda. Oh, Russ, I forgot. Oh, I said I was going to give it. I'm sorry, Russ.
Let me just move closer to the camera. Can everybody hear me in Zoom land?
We can hear you.
Great, thank you. Okay. So I wanted to thank everybody for coming tonight. I know East Hillsborough always has a very consistent turnout, and you would like to fill up all the chairs in here. It's good to see a full room. volunteer fair that we're having on March 2nd is something I asked for, and Radina was kind enough to step up and volunteer her region of the county, so that we can take these giant lists of volunteers, people who sign up on the web, people who participated or signed up for volunteer events in the past, to get them connected to something in time for it to make a big difference as this election is coming up. And East Hillsborough Democrats deserve a big membership. I know there are lots of other clubs in the county. There's a total of 7 official Democratic clubs. And although East Hillsborough is consistent in its turnout, it is also one of the smaller clubs. And I think it's one of the clubs that's ready for a big burst of growth in membership. And that's why I hope everybody will come to this event, because if there are not just like 1 or 2 people at a table, but everybody working the crowd, making new friends, telling them about the club, that's going to really increase the chances of somebody eventually coming to a meeting and then maybe deciding to become a dues paying member. And I didn't know that we were kind of in a dues crunch, but wouldn't that be perfect timing to get new dues paying members just in time to pay for stuff that's coming up in the picnic? I know you guys throw a great picnic too. I've been to it, and you get about 60 people to come, I think 60, 70 people, close to double the official membership. So people are aware of the East Hillsborough Dems, and we just want to make everybody aware of the East Hillsborough Dems and bring them into the fold. And we might even, you know, when this election year is done, have to pick a new location so that you can squeeze in more chairs. Just to give you an example, has anybody been to a South Shore Dems meeting before? Yes. And how many people were at that meeting? About 70 people showed up in person. And that is in Sun City Center. And who do we know that lives in Sun City Center? Are they usually Democrats? That's one of the most Republican parts of the county in Southeast Hillsborough. But the South Shore Dems, and I want to take my hat off to Debbie Anderson in particular, who's a retired union organizer, who even though she's retired, she's still working full time as a volunteer to recruit volunteers, bring them in, find something for them to do, what they call working up the ladder of engagement, from doing simple things like showing up to a meeting to maybe eventually making some phone calls to help get out the vote, and even knocking on doors, which is kind of like the last thing you have to learn before you become a precinct captain, I think. Successful precinct captains are good at knocking on doors in their neighborhood, and it's a fun activity. I enjoy knocking on doors, so I wouldn't be working with the county party. And no, I don't get paid. People sometimes think that we get paid, but none of us gets paid for doing our volunteer work for the county. Right. Mark Hannessy is our fundraiser for the HCDEC. He brings in something like $250,000 a year. Yes. And he is over retirement age too, and he just takes, I think it's on commission, but I think he makes between $35,000 and $40,000 a year. It's not enough to make most of us jealous, considering how hard he works in that job. Does anybody have any questions about the party? We would like every caucus in Hillsborough County to come. I know Karen is here. She's the president of my favorite caucus, the Environmental Caucus of Hillsborough County. We need new members too. This is a club. This is a club. And I know most of us have probably heard the definition. A club is for a region. So we have a South Shore Democratic Club. We have a South Tampa Democratic Club. I saw about 40 people at the last meeting I went to there. We have a Temple Terrace Democratic Club. They typically get a smaller turnout than you guys do, a little bit smaller. New Tampa Democratic Club, maybe just slightly bigger turnout than you guys. And then there's the North Tampa Dems, who are really enjoying a surge of growth. They've got really good leadership there. They're very active. And I think since they came back online right after the pandemic, they're pretty new, as is New Tampa, right? They were both defunct during the pandemic and they brought them back. Question, Gwen, hi. Oh, Gwen, you're muted. We can't hear you.
sorry.
Yep.
How are we going to advertise this to get volunteers? You know, I mean,
I'm-
our club people will be there setting up
Yes.
our booths or tents, etc. But how do we want to advertise this? Do you want us to send out flyers in our precinct?
That would be a great idea. I glad you raised your hand because I wanted to mention that the Southeast Hillsborough Democratic Women's Club is a major organizing participant in this event, and I hadn't yet. But we've created a mobilize event for it so far, which is kind of like what we use to organize the canvas that Gwen and Regina and who else was at that? Someone else from an East Hills. Oh, Vicky was
President
there.
Liz Conjero and two of our
Yes.
members, Gail Augustine and Gail Blaylock.
Yes, who are both signed up for the party too, for the March 2nd event.
Yeah.
Mhm. But yes, I wanted to add, in addition to Mobilize, though, they had some success with an event that Javier Guerrero and Vanessa Lester put together on July 4th. It was a cookout using meetup.com. There are a lot of people that are more familiar with that older service than they are with Mobilize when looking for events. We'd love to do more canvassing in that area. We did a voter registration canvass just this Saturday, but I would like to create some canvases that are around the park in particular to see if we can pick up some local interest and get people kind of sniffing around the Democratic Party and learning what we do and learning that even though that's also kind of a red area, Brandon, that we do get together, that we're not like the French Resistance, we're not in hiding, and that we are very involved in getting out the Democratic vote. We would like to do flyer distribution. That's what Javier and Vanessa were doing. I joined them on one of the flyer distribution canvases where you don't necessarily have to knock on a door and you can start it fairly early in the morning. And you're just leaving a flyer in the door jamb so that people in that neighborhood will know more about the event. You can do that very quickly. You can do like a door every 30 seconds. And we can use our vote builder and minivan and reach to make sure we're just going to Democrats' houses and not wasting our time or alerting the Republicans who might want to protest us. We don't want to do that. Did that answer your question, Gwen?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay. You go.
So I'd only point out, Russ, that's 2.5 weeks from now to March 2nd. So she raised a very good point. You know, once we're there, we do what we do, but how do we make sure between now and then, besides mobilize, to make sure we have the volunteers there to, you go like this, or maybe here it's the other way down, and we need the people, the seed capital to get even more people. So what are we going to do besides mobilize to get volunteers to show up for March the 2nd?
Well, the reason I know this is doable is because of the Temple Terrace event we had just last week that Janet Kennedy organized. She was very good in just, I think it was about the same amount of time. I mean, we announced this event and brought it together about 10 days ago, and we have a planning meeting coming up this Thursday. We'll have some of the Southeast Women's Club's members, and we've invited Reed and Vanessa Lester and some others to come up. She was able to get, I think it was 70 people to come to this. It might have even been more of 100. It was over 100 if we count people who came and went. I think it was 70 at the kickoff at 10 a.m. and they went to 2 o'clock too and had 100 people roll through that event. And what we're doing is we're relying on the strength of all of our members, our club members, our caucus members, to bring in all of the people they know. The most important thing you can do is use word of mouth. If people just see a flyer, they'll be like, oh, I saw a lot of junk mail today. What does it mean to me? But if somebody who knows a friend, we call this relational organizing, or a relative, and they know they would like Democrats to win the election, then bring them. Right? Introduce them to the caucuses that we have too, because if they're interested, if they're interested in things that pertain to the Hispanic caucus, we'll probably have some representation there. I know the Black Caucus is going to be tabling there. Angela Birdsong, who's grown that caucus really quickly. They have, in 3 phone banking events, they've increased their turnout there from, I would say, about a dozen at the first one to 2 dozen for the second one and 30 for their third one. So they're filling up every chair when they do their events at the Temple Terrace Democratic Caucus, Democratic headquarters. So this is possible. It is possible to get really good turnout if you really work at it, and that you believe it's possible. If we're passive and we say, well, I know someone's going to go to that event, probably table with Reed, but I don't know who it is, so I can count on them to take care of things for us. Take it into your own hands and do everything that you can. Just like with Karen, she might know that I'm going to be at this event, but I hope that she'll be there and bring a table so that we can wave the flag for the environmental caucus, show everybody that we're real and we don't just immobilize.
Yeah, if I get somebody else from this club to come to our table, then I can disappear and sidle over to Karen's table because I'm also a member of that caucus. So I'll be able to, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But if I'm the only one at our table, well, then I'm sorry, Karen. I gotta, I'll be holding the Alamo by myself. So come on, I need some help here. This is for us to get more people to join our club. Okay, I need help from my club members. I have not asked you for this to show up in person. I know it's not always your most favorite thing. I need help on March the 2nd. Okay, that's all I can do is ask. Okay, Karen asked for the mic. I'm going to give it to her, and then when she's done, I think we're done. And I want to thank you all for being here.
So I have some questions regarding this event. So it's at what, 10 o'clock?
First Saturday in March.
And 10 to what? 10 to 4? 10 to 2. And is it going to have any games? Is it going to have any events? Like, have we thought anything like that?
And talk and meeting all the different groups that you can contribute to the election in November. Pick how you want to get involved. Is that pretty much it?
It's free food, conversation. We're also going to set up some training tables so that people can learn how to use the different apps that we have. Yeah, what I was saying was sort of like what happened at the Temple Terrace event. We're going to have tables for training as well, so that people can learn how to use the different democratic apps that we have. Reach, for example, I'm guilty. I am the Reach trainer for Hillsborough County. So I'm going to be there at a table teaching people how to use Reach. It's kind of like this huge database that it's very difficult to use is called Vote Builder, and we use it to plug into minivan. But we have a Vote Builder Lite version called Reach that's much easier to use. And you can use it just to find out who the Democrats are in your neighborhood, find out who votes regularly and who doesn't. And that way you know who you need to talk to about voting, or who you need to talk to about also coming to your club meeting. If they're regular voters, they're probably looking to make more of a difference than that. We have another app for voter registration called Mapper, and we had Rick, who is its author, the actual developer of the app, come and do a training in Temple Terrace. I'm hoping we can get him to come to the Brandon event too. It's a really interesting app because it shows you by color coding where the Republicans and Democrats are in a particular area, and also it'll put an icon in any empty house that doesn't seem to have any registered voters. So it'll be more of there will be free food. There will be fun in the form of conversation, but it's also going to be a working event. We'd like to bring people up to speed and help them improve their skill set as well.
So the reason why I ask is I'm similar in Reed, but a different approach. He likes to always work, hey, the back date, and I can appreciate that. I like to look at the environment. So I did a quick search, and there's 2 Hispanic restaurants very nearby. You have a couple of schools nearby. You have an Irish bar down the road. So to me, it would be engaging in those businesses, see if we could put a flyer to engage, because those are the people that we want for our election of 2024 to win.
Trying to get people to show up for the event.
Right. Right.
So you're answering my question. What can we do besides mobilize
Right.
to get people to show up March 2nd?
Right.
We got it out. Chris has done his usual thing on our own club's newsletter. I've begged for participation from my club to come, so I'm not the only one. That's all I've got. I'm out. And there's an idea. That's what I was looking for. Okay. How else can we get people there? Okay. Okay, now Chris has got a comment.
I started a next door precinct 939 Democrats. Granted, I've only had 100 people sign up to it in next door, but that's still 100 people. So if you're going to do this, you should be in next precinct captain, or just even, caucus. So you could start your own next door group, and then you can put this information out to those people, and it's another means of communication. No, next door.
I don't know, is next door capital N, capital D?
No, it's next door.
Okay, okay,
One word.
okay, okay. Sorry, we got so many official, reach, next door.
A million people on it, so.
Okay. All right, guys, thank you. I really appreciate again, Vanessa Lester. Her time is her most critical and valuable resource. Anytime we can get her to share with us. But it was part of what she's trying to do to get out, and it all worked out just perfectly to have her here tonight. And I'll thank her again personally. So once again, thank you, Regina, for being here and for letting us help you. Russ, thank you again. And I'm hoping we can get Lauren to get here next meeting. I was hoping she'd make it tonight, obviously. Oh, that's right. Her mom is critically ill. I just heard about that. I totally forgot all about that. So yes, that is extremely good reason why she's not here tonight, because I had expect her. I just heard about that just earlier today. Oh my goodness. I would put, that's what okay. Retroactive moment of silence. Please keep Lauren's mother in your thoughts. Okay. All right. With that, thank you very much. It's going to be very interesting news this week, and hopefully good news for us and bad news for the orange guy. And if you're on either my text link or my email chain, well, you'll be hearing from me with articles. So you can count on that. I view that as important service I bring to the HCDC, and I'm actually very serious about that. I curate the news. I'm usually on this. I'm sometimes even 8 to 12 hours ahead of the news sources themselves. I really am. Okay, you'll hear it often from me before you'll hear it the next day on MSNBC or whatever, because I scour everything. And for example, I got that one obscure source that the Israelis in Israel and Hebrew are scared to death because they know that the UK and the US are threatening Benjamin Netanyahu with unilateral recognition of Palestine if he doesn't play ball in this hostile negotiation thing. And you still haven't heard that on the public media, but it's out there. And this was a Wall Street Journal article by a Wall Street Journal Jewish Israeli who did it in Hebrew, and I believe the Wall Street Journal. Okay, thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.